I mean, and the thing that drives me crazy is that we didn't have access to a lot of things. Like I said, I did see things, but it was like
There was no internet in the
somehow
80s.
there was no internet. These kids are seeing far worse than the Statue of David, and I'll tell you why. Because I can guarantee you that that parent
Mm.
probably doesn't even watch what their kid does on the internet. I can almost guarantee that because, sorry, parents, about 90% of you don't bother. You don't bother. You don't have, and there's parental controls. There's
Right.
parental controls. There's things you can do on the internet.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
know sometimes kids like slide around it, but your kids are seeing much more on the internet. All you got to do is type in a word that maybe seems innocent, but to the internet, it's not so innocent, and
That
a lot
happened to
pops
me when I was Googling dental work. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
up.
whoa.
Dental work.
Yeah, for my teeth. And I was just like, no, 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 no. This is going in a direction that I never expected. But you're right. Like, choose your wars wisely. And look, Michael, let's be honest here. If an art teacher shows, or any teacher shows Michelangelo's David to a group of students, especially middle school, you might get some giggles. But so what? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And also, let's take the shock value out of it because it shouldn't be a big deal.
No, I mean, I don't understand what, I mean, do they even have sex ed anymore? I mean, we had sex ed. I mean, we were shown
Yes.
very
In health class.
explicit
Oh
uh,
God.
venereal
STD.
disease, venereal disease films.
Yes.
I mean, I can vividly remember those. I mean, so I don't understand why. Yeah, and the sad part is that parents always say, "Oh, well, I want to teach them. I want." They're not doing diddly crap because they're not teaching them.
No.
They're not teaching
And
them.
look, all this homeschooling, which I think in certain situations is great, but honestly, I wouldn't want a hairdresser to be my homeschool teacher. I want a teacher, and in Florida, in charter schools, those teachers have to be certified. And that's what I want. I want somebody who not only chose teaching as a profession, but has gone the distance in terms of educating themselves to educate children properly. So, Michael, censorship tentacles have got to be clipped. And for anyone listening, Michael lives in Florida.
Yes, I do.
So
And
he lives in this environment of censorship and not just with education.
and the thing is that I know years ago, and even now I see like people saying, "Oh, I could never live in Florida. I could never." But this is going on. It's not only Florida. We have Tennessee. We have Texas. This is like a cancer that's going to start spreading through our country. So anybody that lives in Florida, you got to get up off your asses and vote. There's one thing that I went to a drag protest on Sunday, not to get totally off the subject, but this all, involves what's going on now. And the thing is that when DeSantis was elected a couple years back, there were 86,000 registered Democrats in Broward County who did not vote. He won by less than that amount. Does that make sense? He won by less than that amount. So that means that all the people that sat out this election elected him,
Right.
helped elect him. And this is why we have, I mean,
Right.
this is why this whole thing with Statue of David, with
Right.
banning drag queens, this is where it's coming from. I mean, if
Absolutely.
people don't think that it's not coming from the governor of this state, then you're fooling
You're
yourselves.
right. Florida has last year, Florida enacted a controversial law called the Parental Rights and Education Act, and it was backed by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. And so was this Don't Say Gay Act. I mean, and you're right, it's not just Florida, it's spreading. And if you live in those states, you can't just complain. You have to put your voting power where your mouth is and do something, because nothing's going to change by sitting in your house and complaining. I vote, you vote, we write letters, we send emails, we stand up physically and protest, because that's the only way for change to happen. If you think somebody is going to read your mind, you're crazy. You need to make a change, because after it's done, it's hard to undo it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And you can't say, well, I don't like either candidate. That's not the point. That I'm so tired of hearing
Because
people.
not voting, in essence, is voting for the opposition.
Right. It's the lesser of the two evils. Hey, you know what?
Sometimes,
I
not
didn't.
always, but sometimes.
Right. I mean, I did not care for the candidate that I voted for down here for the governor, but it was better than DeSantis, sorry.
Michael,
Yeah.
Michael.
It was the better choice because he is just he's not going to stop, and people really have to. They've got to start. But and your small town elections, that's where it begins to, because people start gaining power there. So be aware and get out and vote. Stop
Right.
stop sitting around and stop saying that. I think people also think, oh, well, my 401k is doing great. Well, yeah, your 401k is doing great, but if your rights are being taken away, it's not going to be so great.
Right. And it goes for also women's rights.
Yeah.
It's becoming the handmaiden's tale, and it has to stop, because it's not just about certain subjects, which we won't talk about. It's much more far reaching than this. And this issue with Michelangelo's David is a prime example. And Michael, I think we have put the art hole in its place.
Yeah, I mean, we could go on and on and on because it's so frustrating and so
Yeah.
annoying at this point. But hopefully, people out there get the point. And you know what? If you're watching this and you're a good writer, take the time to write this school. What's the name of the school again?
I think it's called the Tallahassee Classical School. We'll look it up, and we will
Oh, we'll have it
include
scroll
the
down.
address in this posting, so you
Yeah.
can write to them. We'll also include Florida Governor DeSantis's address as well, and you can write to him, because that's the way you make change happen, peacefully but strong.
Hopefully, peacefully.
Okay. Thank you,
All
everyone.
right. Yes. Thanks for joining us, and catch up on our 5-minute interviews.
Yeah, we have great new
On
series
YouTube.
happening.
Yes, we do.